Hey everybody, welcome to Winning with DT. I want to talk to you about how you end your day. You know, the day after all your sales calls and all your phone calls and you know everything that you have to do. Have you ever had a sales call? Let's look at it maybe in person. You ever had one that when you leave, you say to yourself, that was so not fun, right? Where it didn't go the way you wanted it to go. You really felt like, man, I am not doing well on this call. In fact, let's call it a crash and burn. You ever have one of those? Maybe a phone conversation. Maybe you're making your cold calls, you're making your warm calls, and it's just not going the way you want it to go, and then it messes with your head, doesn't it? It's hard to make that next call. I want to talk to you today about a principle that I live by, and it's basically never end on a lousy landing. Never end on a lousy landing. Now, you know, I just put out a video about being a pilot and how you recover from a stall and all that. But I'm also going to tell you about what goes on inside of a pilot's head. When you have a really lousy landing, you just don't feel good about being a pilot, okay? And I've had some lousy landings. So for my pilot friends out there, I'm admitting it right now. This is my open confession. I have had some landings that were not greased. And if you're not a pilot, you still get that term, right? It's not perfect. There's no butter on it, if you will. Where maybe I've bounced, maybe I've come in a little crooked, maybe I had a crosswind blow me off center line at the last second, whatever. I've had lousy landings, but I have a rule. When I have a lousy landing, I won't do a touch and go. I'll do a complete stop. I'll taxi back up the runway and I'll take off again. Why? Because I never end on a lousy landing. So here's what I'm going to talk to you about for your day. If you have a bad sales call in person end of the day, bad conversation on the phone near the end of the day, never end on a lousy landing. Okay, and let me tell you what the end of the day becomes for some of you. 3 o'clock. 3 o'clock you crash and burn at an in-person meeting. You've got every excuse in the world to wrap up your day right then and just call it, right? I got to do my email, Daryl. I got all this admin stuff I got to work on. I got to blah, blah, blah. No, you got to go back and make another call and another call until you can end on a good call. So if you're near the end of your day, call one of your best customers. Call one of your favorite people, the people that elevate you, that lift you up, that edify you. Call those people so that you can feel like you're not ending with a lousy landing. Now, for some of you, you know exactly what I'm talking about because maybe this week you've had a bad one. And by the way, if you haven't had a bad one lately, make more calls, okay? You're not trying hard enough because if you try hard enough, you'll find the bad ones. But never end on a lousy landing. Call your best customers, call your best prospects, and keep going until you have your greased landing, the buttered landing, the perfect landing, smooth right on the center line. Everything works great. Because when you do, let me tell you what happens. You're encouraged to do it again. But if it's the end of the day, a lot of people say, well, make one more call. Let me just kind of tell you, if it's at the end of the day and you kill it, I mean, you do great, you have a great outcome, you have a great sales call, wrap up then if it's the end of the day already, because tomorrow you'll start the game running. There's two kinds of people, those who hit the ground running and those who just hit the ground. And I'm convinced that those who hit the ground running are the ones that plan the day before, and part of planning the day before is to end on a high note. End on a high note. Never end with a lousy landing. I hope this has helped you. Now go make your calls. If the next one's lousy, make more. Make them until you win them. How about that? See you next time.